have a secret. I would rather be pretty much anywhere else than standing here right now. This is absolutely terrifying. Now, you might not believe me, but beneath this kind of composed, been rehearsing for months because this is what confident is supposed to look like exterior, my heart is racing a mile a minute, and every single voice in my head is screaming at me to get off this stage. This is actually what's going on in my head right now. I'm sure that many of you can relate to the sheer dread of public speaking, the fear of being seen, heard, and judged. So why put yourself through it then? You might rightly be asking yourself. Just save yourself the bother. Get back to that comfort zone. Well, I'm here, taking one for the team, because I would like to talk about the dilemma of the timid trailblazer. Those individuals who have confidence in their ideas, just maybe not their ability to get them across. The difficulty of being someone with something to say, but desperately wanting to avoid the limelight. I actually really clearly remember the first time that I noticed this paradox. I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I came across an influential figure who immediately stood out to me as someone who defied expectations in achieving great things, despite being a quiet and reserved character, and not at all fitting the mold of great leader or go-getter. I'm sure the names of many impactful introverts are already popping into your mind, such as Rosa Parks or Albert Einstein. Well, the lesser recognized thought leader that struck me was, in fact, Paddington Bear. Now, if you're not familiar with this lovable, marmalade sandwich-eating bear from darkest Peru, let me quickly fill you in. After a tragic event forces him to leave his homeland, Paddington finds refuge with a family in London, leading a life as ordinary as a bear's life in London could be. Standard stuff. So what has this got to do with the dilemma of the timid trailblazer? So in the story, Paddington finds himself in a predicament. Our bear friend is taking a bath. Picture the scene. Taps on full blast, boiling hot water, getting dangerously high. And being a bear of relatively small stature, he quickly finds himself in trouble. After his attempts to bail out the water with his hat prove fruitless, he calls out for help. But quietly at first, so as not to attract attention. I call this the Paddington Paradox. It's the dichotomy faced by introverts who have impactful ideas or a critical message to share, but prefer to do so without stepping into the limelight or drawing excessive attention. This is a concept that encapsulates that contradiction experienced by introverted leaders or timid trailblazers. It's the balancing act between being someone who wants to lead and influence with a strong desire to remain in the background. The fact is, timid trailblazers play a significant but often overlooked role in society's progress and have huge potential for making a great difference whilst maintaining their authentic identity and staying true to who they are. So, how do you grab attention when you hate being the center of it? On a very basic level, we put people's personality types into one of two boxes. You're either an extrovert or you're an introvert. An extrovert is described as someone who is outgoing, friendly, confident, having high self-esteem. They thrive in large social gatherings and being in the spotlight. Whereas an introvert, on the other hand, is considered to be quiet and reserved, who like spending time on their own or in small groups of people and can often turn inward on themselves for reflection. Now, as a society, we appear to lean towards the extroverts. Their traits tend to be seen as more desirable and are considered ideal qualities for leadership. And we're more likely to notice the outgoing types achieving their success, which just fuels this image that it's so much easier for them to make their mark. What we have to remember is that these personality types just sort people into how they get or spend their energy, and absolutely not what they're capable of. I consider myself to be an introvert, which might come as a surprise to some people that know me. I love to sit in my comfort zone. I prefer a small group of friends to a big gang. I hate talking in public. I prefer to write my thoughts. I play it safe. I stick to the rules. I was always home by the time I should have been, if not a little bit before, and I probably would have covered for my sister too. I'm not a risk taker. I need quiet to concentrate. I run a business with my husband, and we have separate offices and we'll often Zoom to chat. I get really, really weird around the attention at birthdays. I think a lot and reflect on everything, probably too much, and I do a lot of hiding in toilets at events. But I can channel confidence when I need to. I get really fired up about the things that matter to me. I have no problem voicing my opinion on behalf of my kids when necessary. I love a topical debate so much more than small talk. And once you get me up on that soapbox, it's pretty hard to shut me up. And I can think of loads of successful, outgoing, confident types of people who put themselves out there with apparent ease, who I would most definitely mark up as extrovert, but they would get in that introvert box in an instant. Maybe you know some, or maybe this feels familiar. So obviously, it's not that black and white. It's not as easy as saying you're one or the other. It makes much more sense to look at it on a sliding scale. But although you sit somewhere on this scale, there are many factors that can shift your position along the line, and you're not totally fixed to your spot. People, circumstances, and events can all contribute to whether you feel ready to take on the world or curl up on the sofa, no matter where you are on that line. You know those days when nothing is going your way. It's hard putting yourself out there, right, when you feel a little jaded and lacking confidence. But on the days that you get out of the right side of the bed and everything slots into place like a dream, bring it on, you can do anything. So if this is the case, and we're clearly not fixed to our spot, we can actively take more control of how we show up, even if it should go against our makeup. In the insightful book Quiet, Susan Cain introduces us to a unique perspective called free trait theory. Now, the gist of this theory is that whilst our personalities are molded by innate and culturally influenced traits such as introversion, we're not totally fixed into a set mode of behaviour, and we are absolutely capable of stepping outside the constraints of our natural tendencies when we're driven by our core personal projects. Now, this implies that introverts, whilst they may dread the spotlight, can exhibit extrovert behaviour when the cause at hand deeply resonates with them. So whether that's a critical work project, a loved one, or a cherished belief that needs their voice, introverts are not only capable, but willing to play against type, take the stage, and turn up the volume when their passion and purpose call for it. Basically, we can break the mold when we really care about something. In knowing this, we can empower ourselves to push out of that comfort zone and blaze our trails whilst staying anchored to who we really are. So how do we apply this theory to comfortably get out of our comfort zones? The first step in blazing your trail is to identify the things that matter most, the things that are really important to you, your core values and your beliefs. Genuine, authentic passion will enable you to step out of your comfort zone without the need to bend or change who you are. Embrace who you are. In reality, quieter types have some exceptional traits for leadership. Not big on talking, they tend to be great listeners and notice a lot, which allows them to deeply understand and empathize with those around them. And they're more likely to have a calmer, more diplomatic approach than their more aggressive counterparts, which leads to effective problem solving. If you're more reserved, these are your tools to influence and lead. Use those to your advantage. This is crucial. Understand that you have the power to reframe what success looks like for you. If you find fulfillment in peaceful, behind-the-scenes accomplishments, that's a success. If you stand up for something that you believe in, even if your voice shakes, that's a success too. By framing success in terms that reflect you and your own criteria, you can find your own path and blaze your own trail without the need to bend for external validation. The amazing thing is, you can navigate your world on your terms. You can harness that extrovert within you when you need to, but don't feel pressured to let go of your introverted self. Because after all, it's your unique blend of traits that's going to enable you to make your mark. I want to leave you with a quote from Marianne Williamson, who said, "Our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure." The volume of your voice doesn't equate to the value of your ideas. Your power doesn't lie in how much attention you can grab, how loudly you can speak, or how well you perform under the spotlight. Your power lies in your ideas, your values, your creativity, your individuality, and your quiet determination to make a difference. So go ahead. Be quietly brave, be thoughtfully bold, and be uniquely you. Blaze your trail in your own way, at your own pace. And just remember, if a 3-foot marmalade-obsessed bear can end up having afternoon tea with the Queen, you absolutely have the potential for greatness. Thank you.